Let's now have a look at two functions which will help us to update our records in our database: update and patch. Let's start out with update. As you can see, the input is just a data object, which, for example, you can create with a make model function. Now, the update model function essentially resets the data object that we have in our database and replaces it by the newly data object which is supplied as input. How does it find this object? Essentially by the ID. So we are supplying this function with a data object with specific ID. It resets it in the database and replaces all the fields that we have supplied over here with the new values. Now, patch is quite similar, but there is one important distinction. Instead of updating the whole object, it only updates those fields which are not null in the incoming data object. So, for example, in case that we would like to update a user and just update their first name, we can do that with patch. We create an object, a user, with a specific ID, and we also supply a first name. We then connect it with the user over here, and in our database, only the first name of that user will be updated. The rest of the fields will remain as is. Now, in case that we also want to reset some of those fields, we can do so with set null fields. In here we have to supply the names of the columns that we want, fields that we want to set to null in snake case. So, for example, for the first name, that would be first name. For last name, it would be last name. Now, any of the fields that we have supplied over here will be updated in the database, and those fields that we have set to null will be set to null. In case that you want to learn more about the snake case or this operation, you can check out our official documentation on the website.